With Boruto TBV VORTEX Chapter 9 releasing next week, I thought it would be a good time to introduce a very interesting possibility to the conclusion of the SHINJU invasion. Now, of course, I'm not saying the SHINJU will retreat literally a chapter after they just arrived in Konoha and when things are just getting good. But I do believe we might see a scenario that would result in the realliance of Team 7. And it might be exactly what we need to further push the story in the right direction. But before we dive into the premise of today's video, I do make these videos myself and they take a lot of time and patience. So I would appreciate it if you took the time out of your busy day to drop a quick like on the video, as it does help the video reach a wider audience. So that means we get to grow our community even more. You see what I'm saying? But enough of that, let's get right into today's video. So first off, to help all of this make sense, I gotta make sure you understand foreshadowing in Boruto. And surprisingly enough, where we see the most foreshadowing isn't even in the manga. It's in the anime, believe it or not. It's a very popular topic in the Boruto community, but I don't think a lot of people really understand how the anime executes something like this. But at the end of this explanation, I think you'll end up questioning a few things just like me. So coincidence or not, the Boruto anime has shown us a wide variety of ideas and concepts that has been used in later chapters. Most of them have already been spotted in TBV VORTEX, some considered canon to the manga, and some canon to the anime. For example, let's look at episode 158 of the Boruto anime. This is the episode that Sasuke gives Boruto his glove. The purpose of Sasuke giving his glove to Boruto is to hide the karma mark on his palm to keep from attracting unnecessary attention to himself. I constantly tell people when looking at something like this right here to not take it as face value, which means instead of looking at it as Boruto using Sasuke's glove to hide his karma, look at it as just him using the glove to hide something that would be alarming if he let someone else see it. Obviously Boruto wears a glove in TBV VORTEX, but it's quite a different situation. Boruto is right-handed, but yet he uses the glove to cover his left hand, the hand opposite that the karma rests. For whatever reason was not specified, but if we go off the context that was left for us, we can come to the conclusion that Boruto could be hiding something from us. Something that shouldn't be just shown to the public eye. In that logic, it could end up being that Boruto has manifested a Rinnegan on his hand, just like the one Momoshiki was seen to have as early as chapter 5 of part 1. If Boruto slowly started to manifest Momoshiki's abilities such as his flight ability or even his Byakugan without the help of the karma ever since he became 100% Otsutsuki, then him starting to manifest a Rinnegan like Momoshiki could be a good possibility as well. I did go over the possibility of Boruto inheriting the Rinnegan in great detail in another video, as you can see right here. So if you're interested about that, then click the link in the top right hand corner. But there has been way more foreshadowing that you may or may not have noticed. One of my favorite ones that initially I didn't even catch on to myself was Boruto developing a new and original stronger Rasengan and using that technique to defeat a Kara member, a former Kara member at that. You just can't make this up. For those that watch the anime, you of course know about the high compression Rasengan. But for those that didn't watch it, this particular Rasengan condenses the destructive power of the Rasengan to its limit to penetrate tough surfaces with little resistance. It even penetrated Deepa's carbon armor. The only thing that it was shown not able to completely penetrate was one of Ishiki's cubes. Obviously these cubes are just cracked out. Like, I have never seen these cubes destroyed. And it probably got some special type of chakra flowing through it that keeps it from breaking as well. But nonetheless, to say that Rasengan is super strong would be an understatement low-key. Like I said, just look at the concept. Boruto using a Rasengan to beat an enemy that was previously stronger than him, and one that had heavy associations with the Kara organization. I could go on. I got concepts to talk about for hours. I don't even want to talk about Boruto using a literal blade made out of his own chakra. So yeah, I'm starting to catch on to the fact that there's a lot that could be taken from these simple scenes. I mean, many would call it a stretch, but most of these is literally canon to the anime, meaning they will most likely have an impact to the story in the future in a small or big way. So for example, let's say instead of Boruto having a random glove on his hand, he just uses Sasuke's glove. It's a very minute change that probably won't be noticed by many people, but the concept of it makes sense because we know and seen with our own eyes Boruto with his glove earlier on in the series. Or in another case, although I don't think this would happen at all, so don't be getting any ideas, I'm just stating this as an example, but let's say Boruto doesn't use Uzuhiko to defeat Code in the anime, but instead of Uzuhiko, he actually uses a much stronger version of the high compression Rasengan that more or less has the same properties of the Uzuhiko. It's a concept that we've seen before, it's just being implemented in a different way than the manga. So it looks like some things are already being set up for future use, especially if Kishimoto and Ikimoto already had an idea of how they wanted the story to unfold ever since the beginning. They gave us the ending scene or somewhere towards the ending at the beginning of the manga. So they probably have an idea of how they plan to get there. You know what I'm saying? But now it's all about the execution and what can you add or change throughout the story to enhance the reader's experience. So it wouldn't be out of the ordinary that he sneaks some subliminal ideas or concepts that he has for the future of the story. Even before Tubular Vortex was announced and Boruto's design was revealed, we knew there would be a time skip, of course, and we had an idea of what Boruto would look like in this time skip. They even showed a brief silhouette of time skip Boruto at the end of what I remember to be the 7th opening of the Boruto anime, along with the destroyed Hokage faces rebuilding itself. Now, I want you to just tell me, what do you think that means? Just real quick, because that's something that would just fly over most people's heads, but definitely meant to signify something. So while we're on this topic, let's talk a little bit about Himawari. Could it be that the Shinju, most likely JURA, will realize that Himawari is not really Naruto? And if he does, what exactly would he do to her? Because it's safe to assume that because of the Bijuu chakra inside of her, JURA will come to the conclusion that she has some sort of connection to Naruto, and ultimately give him a hint as to how he will find him. So what if JURA uses Himawari as sort of a bargaining piece for them to reveal where Naruto is? I had to really think about the situation, because of course JURA could just start unaliving people, probably everyone in Konoha, but if JURA's main goal is to absorb Naruto, and he's unable to sense Naruto himself other than Himawari, it would be pointless to do that if he has no leads as to where he could find Naruto. So the next best thing is to possibly use Himawari to get information about his whereabouts. The very concept of Himawari potentially getting kidnapped or possibly just being held hostage has definitely been introduced in the anime before. One instance was in opening 10, and in this opening you can see Himawari being what it looks like to be in trouble of some sort, but then Team 7 working together to save her. She even briefly got kidnapped in the anime in exchange for money, but at the end showed some unexpected strength to save herself. But remember what I said about taking the situation at face value. So it really doesn't have to be her getting kidnapped or anything by the Shinju, but let's say she does find herself in trouble, and trouble that she can't handle on her own. But then we have a Team 7 reunion with Boruto, Sarada, Mitsuki, and maybe Kawaki, and them putting aside everything to save her. And it's not like that absolutely can't happen, because it can. Considering all of them are in Konoha right now except for Boruto, but with the help of Flying Raijin, he can be there in an instant. Mitsuki is with Ada and she can currently see what's going on as well, so if this situation was to manifest, it wouldn't be out of the ordinary or anything like that. And Team 7 briefly working together again and maybe Kawaki and Boruto rekindling that lost flame could grow them even closer to each other. And maybe Kawaki puts aside his desperate plan to unalive Boruto, at least until the Shinju situation is finished, which could possibly make Kawaki's choice to unalive Boruto even more difficult considering everything they've gone through. But that's not the only possible outcome. It could be the case to where we see Himawari actually putting her training to good use and fight back against the Shinju, perhaps even awakening some newfound strength that was never shown by her before. She doesn't have to win, but showing the readers just how much potential Himawari has and against such strong foes would be just as satisfying, because now we know she can and probably will take on a bigger role in the near future of the story. If you pay attention, you can see Team 10 in the opening as well, and it would just so happen that they have made an appearance in the exact same chapter we're discussing right now. So whether you think it's a coincidence or not, you have to admit it's still pretty suspicious. Suspicious enough to bring it to your attention, which I hope to do in this video. The foreshadowing in Boruto has been pretty much in our face since the beginning of the anime, and in some cases the manga as well. Like I said, there were of course many other foreshadowing moments in the anime that I know personally, but did not mention because if I did, we'll just end up being here all day. I just mentioned the ones that I think has the most relevancy and impact in the story as of now. But if you know any that I haven't mentioned that you feel can be related to where we are in the manga right now, or anything we could potentially see in the future of the manga, then let us all know in the comment section so we can maybe spark up a discussion. But anyway, I hope you all enjoyed this little theory video, and if you did, be sure to drop a quick like on the video, comment, subscribe, and maybe turn on post notifications so you don't miss another video like this. And if you want to react to chapter 9 with me when it drops, be sure to join my spoilers live stream, in which I normally do every month to interact with you all and chat it up for a few hours. So if you're interested in that, then join the community today because we'll be live next week. But without further ado, I'll see y'all in my next video. I'm out. Peace.